Hi, I'm Dan, and I'm from Clemson & Sons Coffee Roastery. Today, we're going to be looking at dialing in a grinder. We're going to be using a Victoria Arduino Mythos 1, and we will be working on a Lamazocco Linear PB. So, for dialing in our grinder, we need to use a recipe, or a ratio if you like. Now, it's important that we use one in order to find balance of flavour. Now, a ratio refers to the amount of dry ground coffee you put in to the amount of wet espresso you get out. So the dry coffee in we refer to as the dose. The wet coffee out we refer to as the yield. And it's about the amount of time that you extract that coffee for, the extraction time. So today I'm going to be using a recipe of 18 grams as my dose, and I'm going to be using 45 grams as my yield. And I want an extraction time of 27 to 34 seconds. Now, it's really important that we use scales and a timer when we're dialing in. For the sake of this demonstration, we're going to weigh the yield out manually. Now, there are certain machines that have a function called volumetrics that can measure that yield for you, but not everybody has that, so we're going to do it all manually today. If your machine does have the volumetrics option, please do check out our programming video. Step 1, we need to tare the portafilter on our scales. Step 2, we need to weigh our dose, which is 18 grams. We need to distribute the coffee evenly by gently tapping the side of the portafilter. Now we need to go for our tamp. I'm going to do a little prep just to make sure I'm nice and level, and then I'm going to put my elbow at a right angle, push down until it comes to a natural stop. I'll then polish the coffee and we're good to go. Now we need to purge to get rid of any excess coffee that might be stuck in the group. We're weighing the coffee coming out until we achieve our required yield of 45 grams. We're going to tear off the weight of our cup. We're going to engage our coffee, start to extract, and weigh that coffee coming out. We want to stop this about 3 grams before where we need to be. As you can see, this has come out much too quick, under our 27 seconds. Therefore, we'll have under-extracted the coffee. If the coffee comes out too fast, i.e. under 27 seconds, the coffee will be under-extracted and therefore will taste sour and salty and thin. If the coffee comes out over 34 seconds, it will be over-extracted, and the result of that is bitterness, ashy and carbon characteristics in the cup. So for this recipe, we need to be between 27 and 34 seconds to create this balance of flavour. Balanced acidity and balanced body. We need to make the grind finer to slow down the extraction. And to do that, we turn clockwise, like so. 1 or 2 steps. At this point, your grinder will be holding some of the previous grind texture. So it's really important that we purge that out before we make our next shot. And a double shot is absolutely fine. This we discard of. Now, repeat the process. Now, as we can see, this has stopped way over our 34 seconds and therefore has come out too slow. So now we need to go back to our grinder and adjust it accordingly. Because it was coming out too slow, we need to go a little bit coarser on that grinder to speed things up. And to do that, we turn the dial anti-clockwise. Purge the grinder. Repeat the process. As we can see, we have achieved our time. We're between 27 and 34 seconds. Now, there's a lot of room for creativity between that 27 and 34 seconds, and this is where the barista comes in. It's about taste, preference. The closer you are to 27 seconds, maybe the more acidity you'll have in the cup. The closer to 34, maybe more body you'll have. So this is where the barista must be creative and use their palate and their expertise. Now we need to adjust the grind time so we can get our required dose of 18 grams. To do that, we can increase the time by pressing this button, to increase the dose, or we can decrease the time by pressing this button to decrease the dose. First of all, I'm going to do a test run to see how much coffee it's giving me. So first of all, tear off the weight of the portafilter, and off we go. Okay, so as we can see, we're at 17.6 grams, which is not quite enough coffee. So we need to increase the time that it grinds for to increase that dose slightly. Repeat this process until you get your required 18 grams. Now, important, you don't need to purge when you're changing the time. Only purge your grinder when you change the grind texture. Now, we're dialed in. Pretty good.